Oh, man. Woo! Good Scooter on the phone, you bird brain.
What do you do, backflips? You jump up there in a silly suit? What do you do?
Yo, bam! I want you to play that.
Camera. However you want to do it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Good afternoon, good evening. Fast Freddie back for another week here, the Fast Freddie Rocks podcast. We are at our new time, Thursday nights at 7:30, and it is definitely good to see everybody here. And we're ready for another fun-filled night. First of all, don't forget, tonight, in our safe right here, in Joe's safe, there is $800. $800 in cash and a pair of iPod Pros. I don't even know why we bother mentioning the iPod Pros, because do you really need it if you win the $800? You could buy your own iPod Pros with that. But that's a little something extra. That's almost like a prize in the bottom of the Cracker Jack box here. But here's how this works. You give us a 3-digit code. You can only call in once a week. And if you give us a 3-digit code and it opens this safe, you win. It's that easy. Now, Joe, we do have some clues. The clues are,
the first one is that I got the number from a clock, a one-word clue, which is partners, and then you have one even number, 2 odd numbers. Now, I gave away an inadvertent clue the other day, so I'm going to give that one too. Somebody asked me if 0 was an even number, and I didn't know, so that must mean that 0 is not in the number either.
Okay, so there's no 0, and we got partners, 1 even, 2 odds.
Right.
And
on the clock.
You would see it on a digital clock.
Yep.
So especially for that second number, that really narrows it down a lot.
Yeah, it does.
You know, that really narrows it down a lot. So if you want to take a shot at that, our phone number is 330-959-1600, 330-959-1600. And with me tonight, we've got some of the guys from the 70s band Mom's Apple Pie in the house with us. And a remarkable band. Interesting story with these guys. They've got a ton of great stories. So we'll start out here with Dave. Why don't you introduce yourself, introduce everybody, and we're going to get down to it, man.
Hi, I'm Dave Mazzochi. I play keyboards and vocals. To my left over here is Pat Aulizia. What a great drummer he is. Over there we got Bob Jaloski. Bob was our equipment manager and photographer. He's got thousands of pictures of us everywhere we played. He's a great guy to have. And I want to thank Freddie for asking us to come here.
And Father Jimmy, don't forget.
And Father Jim. What a guy.
Yeah, Father Jimmy, we had on the show before, and he has such an interesting story. He is just out there. And when we have him back on, next time he's in town, we have a star-studded extravaganza planned, because he knows like the guys from the Buckinghams. He knows Bobby Rydell. He's got a list of crazy people that he knows. And it's really, his story is so unique because he started out, he was a DJ, he was a record producer, talent scout, booking agent, and then he became a Byzantine Catholic priest. And his story is just amazing, and we will have Father Jimmy back on. But right now, we want to talk to you guys. We want to talk a little bit about Mom's Apple Pie. So I know a lot of people back in our day remember Mom's Apple Pie. So why don't you start out with the history of the band, and then we'll get into individual stories and all that.
Well, there's a lot to say. I was in a band called The Shadows, and we went to New York and auditioned for major record companies. We had an offer from Decca for unlimited studio time, guaranteed releases, and $40,000 front money. Our acting manager turned that offer down from Decca.
Oh, man.
And when you turn a record company down, the word travels. We ended up losing that contract, and consequently, that was the end of the Shadows. Pat and Bob Pintai, our trumpet player, came knocking on my door and asked if I wanted to be in their band. And at that time, I was just so disheartened from not getting a contract. They said they got a recording contract. And I'm thinking, how the heck did you guys get the contract? Well, 2 weeks later, they come knocking on my door. They hold a contract exclusive recording contract, Terry Knight Enterprises. Terry Knight was the manager of Grand Funk Railroad.
Right. That interesting character right there. We'll talk more about Terry coming up.
So I did join the band, and Pat kind of gave me run the show. So we got in Tony from the Shadows, who's a great vocalist, and from that point on, they flew us up to New York. What was the date?
April 26th, I think. Yeah.
April 26th, flew us up to New York. We signed the contracts. We also signed contracts with the American Talent Agency. Shelley Schultz was the guy that we contacted with. He would call us, say, okay, here you go. Here's your dates.
Was he like a talent manager? Was he like the stereotypical talent manager back in the day?
He was, and he booked us, and he said they'd sent us home. Said, now wait for the phone call. We'll give you the dates, locations, and a couple weeks later we got the call.
So was he like Babe, calling you Babe, and all pumped up and fired up? And
no, not really.
Oh, okay.
He was all business.
Yeah, that was more of a booking agent.
Oh, okay.
Now, Terry Knight and the people we were with when we were signing in New York, they were kind of pumping us up a little bit. I remember back in the day, the attorney that was representing Terry was the same attorney you may remember. His name was Howard Beldock, but he was Ed McMahon's attorney back in the day, Johnny Carson, Ed McMahon. So this will give you an idea of the timeline and the players that were taking care of us there. I mean, this wasn't just some guy saying, hey, come over and make a 45 for us.
Right,
This was a pretty heavy operation.
So now they said, sit tight, we're going to give you some dates, and then you're going to hit the road.
Got the phone call. Our very first job was at the University of Georgia with the James Gang. We did quite a few jobs with the James Gang. And I remember when the curtains opened up, there was 10,000 people in the audience, and you could see the look of panic on our guitar player. He was only 17 at the time, and it was just like he was just frozen there. But we had a great showing and a good response from the crowd. And from that point on, we traveled to other colleges and different concerts at all the colleges and all through the South.
And now explain the sound of Mom's Apple Pie, because you guys were a big band, right? Horns, the whole 9 yards. You were a big outfit.
We were. Pat, you want to deliberate?
Yeah, it was jazz rock, typical harmonies, horns, not really dance music. And
right, more like the Chicago type sound, the bigger band, the brass sound that was
Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Chicago.
Right.
Those type of jazz rock bands was the thing that we were trying to implement in our shows. Now, Terry had a little more worldly exposure than we did, and Terry actually was in Europe at the discotheques, and he heard, the story that we talk about. We were told that while they were mixing a demo tape that we had put together at Cleveland Recording Studio, Terry was looking for something like the discotheque sound. Mm-hmm. We never understood that.
Right.
We were still sit down, stand there, and listen to how complicated our music could be, and watch how wonderful this lead guitar is, and the vocals, and there was no beat or dancing. It was more complicated type of music.
Yeah.
Speaking of Terry Knight, this is how this whole thing happened. I wasn't in the band at the time, but they went up to the Cleveland Recording and laid down a Willie Dixon track of I Just Want to Make Love to You. While Terry was in the main studio mixing a Grand Funk album, his wife was in the back studio listening to the engineer mixing their demo.
Yeah.
She loved it. She ran up front, grabbed Terry, said, you got to come listen to this. So he goes in the back, he listens to it. He asked Ken Heyman, the engineer, he said, who is that? He said, it's a bunch of kids from Warren. He said, get a hold of them. From
that's
that point,
wild.
and that's how that got started.
Well, let's hold it right there. Let's take a couple of phone calls.
Sure.
And we're talking with the guys from Mom's Apple Pie, legendary 70s band from Youngstown. Interesting story. And we're going to get into some of these stories from being on the road and, these stories with Terry Knight. Just working with Terry Knight is fascinating enough. I mean, he was a character. He was one of the first DJs in the United States to play the Rolling Stones when he was at CKLW. He started out as a disc jockey in Michigan, and then he made his way up to CKLW, Windsor, Detroit, which was like the radio station of radio stations. And he was one of the first DJs in America to play the Rolling Stones.
But then he recorded a song called
I Who Have Nothing.
I Who Have Nothing. And on the video, it shows him combing his hair, singing I Who Have Nothing.
Yeah.
So that was his recording. But he went on to, like I said, be Grand Funk's manager. And that just took off from there.
Oh, sure. All right, let's take a couple of phone calls. Who we got on? Who's this? Who's there?
I think Chris is up. Chris, you there?
Hello, Chris, you there?
No, Chris.
All right, Chris, try again. We want to get you back on. We want to give you a shot at this money. All right, we'll take another one.
All right, let's try Jenny.
Jenny.
Are you there?
Hello, Jenny. Jenny. Hello, Jenny. All right. Hold on. We might have a loose
we'll
wire.
We'll go back. I'll get those queued up again.
Okay. Let's see if we can get these calls in. I had a little technical difficulty. No problem.
Well, for those of that want to know how being on the road is, it's not all fun and games. We, in one city, the very next day in another city, we got very little sleep. We were on the road a lot. At one point, I knew the driver was just as tired as I was, but it got to the point where I didn't care and I just nodded off and hoped that we would make where we were going. Fortunately, we did.
That was pretty wild. Now, let's talk about the band. Now, how did this whole band come together? Oh, wait, we got a phone call?
Chris, are you there?
Yes. Hey, it's Chris Gergel.
Hey, Chris, how are you, man?
Good, buddy. Thanks so much for doing these podcasts. They're awesome.
Oh, thank you. So, how do you think Michigan's going to do this year? Are you ready, or do you think you're finally going to beat Ohio State?
I knew that was coming. Let's go with the Browns. How about that, Fred?
Oh, yeah, we can all agree on the Browns. I'll tell you what, I am so pumped about the Browns, it's unbelievable. I wish the season would start tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, and I live in Cleveland now, so it's awesome up here. Oh, the hype is great.
Oh, I'm loving it. I think this is going to be our year or very close to it. Last year had to be probably one of the best seasons ever for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, it just felt so good in that Ravens game and then beating the Steelers twice in 1 week at the end of the season. It was magical. It was really magical. Yeah. And I hope that we're able to continue because, being a Cleveland fan, in the back of your mind, you still have that little voice telling you it can all go south in a minute. Something could happen. But I think we're past that. I think we've turned the corner. So what else have you been doing, Chris? Haven't heard from you for a while. I see you comment on the show and everything. Boy, we had some fun times, huh?
We have. I just can't wait till you get Chrissy and Casey on the show together.
Oh, that is going to be off the hook. And there will be drinking involved.
I love your stories.
There will be alcohol involved. Hey, just on our Ohio State-Michigan parties, just classics. That last one we did on South Avenue was pretty goofy, if I recall correctly. Man.
They were, Freddie. I still got some pictures to relive those memories. Those were great times. Always enjoyed having you at my bar.
Oh, we have always had a great time. All right, Chris, you ready to win some money here? Give us a 3-digit number.
Yeah. 121.
121. Oh, Chris, that's not it. Well, you have to play that sad song.
Great catching up with you, Fred.
All right, I'll see you out there somewhere, Chris. Let's go Browns and OH.
I-O.
She's saying F-U.
And Michigan.
All right, let's take another phone call here.
All right, Steve, you're on.
All right, let's get this out of the way quickly.
All right.
We're We're gonna put everybody out of their misery tonight. 633.
6, 3, 3. Not there, Steve. You got to come up with a new one.
Hey, while I'm on here, I want to ask these guys just some impressions of some of the famous musicians they met over the years, and you know what they were like. Just to meet some of these guys in person and the relationships they might have built up with them.
There weren't too many relationships if they were real headliners. We opened for David Bowie, Spider-Man from Mars tour at the Nashville Coliseum, and we saw mostly Bowie's bodyguards, I think.
Right. They kicked us out of the back hallway.
It was our own dressing room, too. Yeah. But they were in their snakeskin suits that time, and, you know, really a spectacular show. But, you know, we didn't really say, hey, Dave, let's go hang out. Now, truthfully, though, there was a time, was that Knoxville? Cat Stevens?
Yes.
I think
Boston.
Boston.
Cat Stevens was with us in Boston, and he sat with me for 45 minutes, and I didn't know who he was. And he was one of my favorite musicians. And after he left, everybody kept coming to me and asking me, what did he say? What did he say? I go, who say? It's Cat Stevens. I didn't know it was Cat Stevens. That was crazy.
Yeah.
We were in Boston.
Dion was in Boston.
Dion DiMucci.
Yes.
Yeah. And
he's got a great album out now.
Dion.
Have you heard?
No, I haven't heard.
It's a jazz.
Uh-huh.
No, he's got Joe Bonamessa.
Oh,
He's
really?
got a bunch of different players. And it's a
pretty wild.
great CD.
Oh, that's awesome.
Ask Jeff Burke about it.
Okay.
He's trying to get it.
Now, how about when, you know, this whole David Bowie thing now, too. Now, when you guys opened for that, was the crowd responsive to you? Because here you are, this big brass band, this 10-piece band, and then you got Bowie, who was, you know, especially when he was coming up, Spiders from Mars, which, you know, if you were picturing a band like, you know, like Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and like just polar opposites, did it work out for you guys?
Well, I would say yes.
Yeah.
They were, you know, there was a little bit of hype around us, seeing a new band and a band that was produced by Terry Knight. And these guys had bloodlines to Grand Funk, you know, that type of thing. So they all the audiences that we played for, even, you know, before the Kinks or before the Doobie Brothers, and any of the real large acts that were just, you know, oversized monster acts, we had pretty good representation from the crowd. It wasn't like, you know, bring on the headliners,
right?
You know, you would think, but no, they were pretty nice about it. Now, one of the things that did happen, though, as I go on here, is the bands, as we were labeled horn bands, some of the other horn bands wouldn't let you play with them. I think Chicago had it in their contracts.
Right.
And different horn bands, you're not playing with that same. Now, he's right. You know, like when we played with Dion, it was a small stage at Boston.
Paul's Mall.
Yeah, Jazz Workshop it was called. Well, you know, we're on a stage, you know, small, but there's 10 of us. I don't even think you were on the stage. You were off on the side with the organ. But again, the people aren't much farther away than, you know, 15 feet.
Small
and
place.
We come out with 10 guys and blow them back, and then Dion comes on with the acoustic guitar. So there is a big difference.
You know, that's pretty interesting that you guys got to open for like a wide variety of acts, too. Yeah. Here you are with Cat Stevens, then you're with David Bowie, then you're with Dion. I know you guys opened for the Kinks.
Yeah. We did the Kinks at Madison Square Garden 2 nights in a row.
No shit. You guys played Madison Square Garden.
Twice we opened for the Kinks. And what was nice about that is some of the guys I used to play with in different bands, they came to New York to see this.
I would have.
So we got them in
Joe,
during the sound checks, and they're sitting out in the audience during the sound checks. The Kinks are on stage. We're on stage. And it's just something that we'll never forget.
Oh, yeah.
And from that point,
that picture you had was
we went down to
the one you just
Charleston, South Carolina, and opened for the
Shit, had
Doobie Brothers.
Kinks, when we opened for the Kinks.
After that,
That was a sound check.
it was the Nashville Coliseum with Bowie. And let me just go back to Bowie for a second. We thoroughly
Right
pissed
there.
them off
That's the Kinks.
because they had a brand new
Ray
light
Davies
show
one.
that they were going to put on that night. And one of our roadies saw it, and he started playing with it. These lights are going.
Oh, no.
They were not happy with us. But after that concert, we did fly out to L.A. and played the Whiskey A Go-Go for a week, which, driving down Sunset Strip, was this huge billboard. You got a picture of that
It's
billboard?
right there. It's next to you.
This one here.
See it?
I don't know
Yeah,
if
hold
anybody
that
can
up.
see that.
Yeah, hold it up somewhere.
Side there.
Oh, look at the camera.
I don't even know where-
in there somewhere.
Oh, right here, live at the Whiskey.
Yeah.
And we pulled into the Continental Hyatt House is where we stayed. And in that hotel was Al Green, Chuck Berry, Chicago, the Fabulous Rhinestones. Who else was in there?
All on the same day.
There
When you
was,
guys were
there was
there.
a huge concert at the Hollywood Bowl. So everybody that we kind of knew were staying at the Continental Hyatt House. It's in Almost Famous, the movie. It was called the Continental Riot House. But I think Stevie Wonder was there.
Yeah?
I rode the elevator with Chris Christopherson and the guys from Mountain. You know, it was like, but what was strange, like David mentioned, Terry Knight had connections, and he was kind of a sensational do-it type of thing. So these billboards that were in Hollywood that says, you know, Mom's Apple Pie at the Whiskey, he made sure that they were the same billboards that the Beatles had when they came to this country. It was that type of thing that he was
Unbelievable.
always involved in.
And on the marquee at the Hyatt House was Welcome Mom's Apple Pie.
Like everybody's there, and
Everybody
it
else.
says "Welcome, Mom's Apple Pie." Nobody really knew who we were. I mean, we're just breaking with the albums, and it says "Welcome, Mom's Apple Pie."
Now, what I find amazing about this whole story is, now you guys, were you together a long time when all this stuff happened, or did this just like, was this like a whirlwind? I mean, how long were you together when this whole thing, happened? Now, from my foggy memory back then, I mean, were you guys out playing a lot of gigs for years or whatever, or did this thing just hit the ground and the next thing you know, there you are at the Whiskey A Go-Go? How did this whole thing unfold?
It was the latter. I mean,
was
it
pretty
really
quick.
was fast. All of us were playing in bands as we were growing up, and as Dave mentioned, he was in that band called The Shadows.
Oh, we'll talk more about the Shadows.
And they
coming
were,
up.
you were very well known locally.
Yeah.
But there's a difference when you actually hit a recording contract, because then you're doing originals, and you're actually traveling where these client booking people are
Right.
sending us. So our band Mom's Apple Pie, I want to say I started it about 1968 or 9. And then we were playing, and we're trying to remember, was the contracts in 1969 or 1970. I was pretty young. I was still in high school, and there were Bob, and one of the guitar players was even a year younger than me. So it's like, how is this happening? And it happened pretty quick. I got the phone call. They said, we're interested in maybe doing a record. I wasn't thinking an LP.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, they're going to have us do a 45. Well, okay, we're not going to turn down anything.
Right.
We'll play at a gas station
Sure.
at that point. But it was kind of amazing that they took us all, the 10 of us, along with some road crew, and I think our attorney and the manager, and we all flew to New York for that signing. That was kind of a big event, and a press party and all of that. Most of us were too young to go to a bar, if I remember right. There weren't too many that were 21.
No.
We played at a lot of places that a couple of us were too young to be in.
Oh, yeah.
Now, see, that's what I find so amazing about this band is the story. You know, you get people out there that struggle and play and work, and they never get anywhere close to this. And here's a band that was like together for a year, and, you know, the next thing you know, you guys are at Madison Square Garden. You're at the Whiskey A Go-Go. You're playing for Bowie and the Doobie Brothers and the Kinks. Yeah. And it was like, it just had to blow your minds, huh?
It did. It really did, because when they did this demo, I wasn't in the band. And then once I joined, then it just started rolling. Yeah. Fly to New York, like you said, came home.
Write the songs.
And we had to write songs.
We didn't have originals at the time. Dave's band had originals, but we had to write originals. How many? We didn't know what was going to happen, so we start writing, and the base of the musicians were all strong. I mean, we were in bands at times that were playing Hendrix, Cream, difficult music, and then Chicago, almost everything Chicago did, and Blood, Sweat, and Tears. So the band, talent-wise, musicianship-wise, was strong enough. But it gets back to, there's a lot of luck in this.
Oh, that's the main thing I think in the music business is luck.
That's why we're sitting here.
It's the turn of the card. It's the roll of the dice. But your story is like, you know, this could be a movie. Your story could be a movie because this isn't the way it happens. You know, you're not playing at Packard Music Hall or wherever you guys were gigging at, and then the next thing you know, you're where you made it to. Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't happen that way.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely amazing how it happened, and it's just being in the right place at the right time. You know, people always say, "Well, how'd you guys do it?" It was the luck of the draw.
And I'll tell you, a lot of the guys that are out there, you know, even people like the Rolling Stones or Jimmy Buffett or a lot of other people that are out there, most of them will tell you that a lot of it is luck, being
absolutely.
at the right place at the right time. It's fate. Because think of how many great musicians there are out there.
Tons.
I mean, if you look across America, even in this town or with your band, there's guys that could play Hendrix note for note and play anything from Zeppelin.
And any guitar solos that you've ever heard. There are people that could. Any drums that's out there, yeah, we could do that. But how do you make a career out of it? And that's where it gets difficult.
Oh, yeah.
How long do you continue to try to do it? One of the biggest things is writing a song. You got to write the song to turn it into a career. My point is, a band that was on our label called Wild Cherry.
Mm-hmm.
How many songs?
One.
Play That Funky Music.
Yep.
White Boy. What was it saying? The beginning words were, "We used to be a rock and roll band."
Right.
And then they realized, just like we didn't realize, that you need to play, at that time, disco.
Right.
We didn't know what it was, but it was dance music. And anything that you pull out of any of the albums, the three that we did, you're not dancing to that.
No, and that's what happens too. And then a lot of people, you get that going, and then you get caught in whatever the style of the day is, and then maybe you're too funky for rock, but you're not rock enough, or you're not funky enough for funk, but you get lost in that shuffle like that, and it happens so fast, as it's going on. One day, we want bands with makeup. The next day, we want grunge bands from Seattle. Oh, tomorrow, forget about the big hair bands. That's out, and it just goes and goes, and then it just changes, and they just change with the times, and they just move on.
You look at the artists that have been able to morph. Bowie did it. Clapton, people like that. Bee Gees, naturally. They all kind of worked through the different types of music that were out.
Right,
and remained popular.
When you look at, even bands like Kiss and Rod Stewart, and they were all dabbling in that disco beat there that whole time. Yeah, it's kind of crazy on how you do that. We got any calls yet?
Yeah.
Oh, let's get some calls here, man. We got money to give away. And all you got to do is give us that 3-digit code that cracks the safe here. A lot of people are getting close. We're getting down to it. So who we got on the line?
Annie, you there?
Hello?
Who's this?
Who's that?
Vinny.
Vinny Styles, man. My
Vinny,
man,
not
Vinny
Annie.
Styles. Bud Light, Vinny Styles. Dilly, Vinny, man. Vinny's been catching some fish here and there. Hey, how's Milton working?
Fred. I'll see you on Facebook.
Yep. Hey, how's and Joe? Do not hang up on Vinny until he's done talking. You know what?
Well,
when Vinny says
Joe.
goodbye, when Vinny says goodbye, I'm done. Then we'll move on to the next call. So, how's the fishing been since they start putting some water in Milton there? How's things been working out for you?
Yeah, I was out yesterday. It seemed like it slowed down a little bit. I think they're scattered now. All that damn water's in there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back out tomorrow morning, though, and try again.
I'll tell you, this weekend, though, if everything pans out, I think this weekend is going to be killer. The weather's going to be stable, and maybe they'll get used to that water, and I think they're going to be on fire this weekend. At least I'm hoping.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too.
All right, Vinny, let's get down to it. You ready here? Give me a number.
Yep. 527.
5, 2, 7. Nothing there, Vinny.
Damn it.
I hear you. That $800 will buy you a lot of Bud Light, that's for sure.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
All right, man. Anything else, or can Joe move on to the next
I'm
call?
not hanging up on
Hey, whenever you're ready.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, okay, I guess that means Joe can move on to the next call.
He lets us.
There we go.
Yeah, you got it.
All right.
Put that there.
You got Jaybird up.
Jaybird, what's up, brother?
What's up, brother? I need some money. I just come back from the Keys and the bike needs repairs. So, Freddie, it isn't I don't give a shit about the rock and roll conversation. Jaybird needs cash.
You got to care a little bit. Come on now, Jaybird. Hey, tell everybody about the trip you just took.
You know
man.
I'm rock and roll at home, dude. Honest to God. The local bands have just been awesome.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the trip.
Oh, dude, it was so wild. The super moon coming up to the left of me, the sun going down to the right of me, coming across the Atlantic Ocean.
On a motorcycle. Now, wait, start from the beginning. Wait, you just jumped in halfway through the story. You got to start from the beginning. First of all, we were on motorcycles, then take it from there.
Yes. First of all, we were on motorcycles, and Ohio was calling for a heavy snowstorm. So we took off out of here, me and my buddy Vinny, and we headed down south. I talked to you on 420. We were at the tail of the Dragon, which was a total fucking blast. Dude, it was so great.
For people that don't know the tail of the Dragon, it's these windy, twisty roads through the mountains of North Carolina.
318 bends in 11 miles. And the Rattlesnake was 489 bends in 38 miles, not to include 129 all the way down into Macon, Georgia. Oh, Fred, it was just a beautiful, beautiful trip.
And then you
heading down south, we hit Daytona. We hit Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Key West. I celebrated the big 6.0 in Key West, and I mean, honest to God, did we have a blast? And that's why I'm calling now. I could really use the $800 and the AirPods. Yeah, then I ain't got to hear the traffic next to the bike. Okay.
All right. Well, let's go, Jaybird. Give us the 3-digit number here. Let's see if we can hook you up with some money.
I'm thinking 245, dude.
Nothing there, man.
Damn that, Joe.
See how he is?
Not that I don't enjoy. Huh?
See how he is? Last week he hung up on Vinny Styles, and Vinny wasn't even done talking, and he hangs up on him, man. I don't know about this Joe. There's something up with him,
well,
man.
He was telling me that he had a list, and there was like 100 and some numbers left that haven't been picked. I asked him to send me the list, and you know he won't respond.
See how he is?
Just saying, Fred.
See how he is?
I'm renting it. $20 per peak if you want to look at the list.
There we go.
I'll
We'll
pay my
subscribe.
$20. Just let me peek once.
All right, Jay, I'll see you on Saturday on our big ride for our buddy L, our memorial ride for our buddy L. It's going to be a great day. The weather's going to be perfect, and I can't wait to get out on the bike, man.
You know it, brother. I'll see you Saturday. You have a good one.
All
Take
right,
care.
I'll buy you a beer since you didn't win today and you're broke. I'll help you out. I'll help a brother out.
Boy,
All right,
I
Jay.
really appreciate that.
Take care, man.
Take care. Bye.
All right, who's next?
Kathy.
Kathy? Hello, Kathy. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I am doing fine. What's up?
Oh, just me and my son Zach are sitting here listening or watching your podcast. It's awesome. The guys
That's my daughter.
are really cool. We love hearing their stories.
Okay.
Hi, Cass. Hey, Cass.
Hi.
How you doing, hon?
Hi.
Hey, Zach.
Good.
All right, you have the
Hi.
3-digit number. You guys think you know it?
Yeah, we think we know it. Zach, say it. 505.
Oh, that's a good one. Nothing there.
All right.
That was a
Thank you.
good try.
Bye, Dad.
Hey, Kat, while we got you on the phone, what is one of your favorite stories that the old man tells all the time? Do you have one favorite story, or do you have one that you just go, oh, I can't believe he's telling this one again? Where do you fit in on that?
I love all the stories. I love all of them. I love that I got to watch him play several times as an adult. My kids got to watch him play. I think it's really cool that he was at Madison Square Garden. I love all the stories.
One of the things that really hit my heart was some of the guys that used to be in bands. We all got together, and we opened up for Huey Lewis and the News at Packer Music Hall about 3-4 years ago. And I got her tickets, I got the grandkids tickets, and that meant a lot to me that they could see, because the response from the crowd was unbelievable. And when we hit the last note of the last song, the lights went on, and it was complete standing ovation. So that meant a lot to me that she could see that. She could see her old man up on stage.
That's right.
That is really
Yes,
awesome.
we
That's
loved
a
it.
great story.
It
That's
is.
a great story. All right, Kat, thanks for calling. Let's
Yeah.
take another call here.
Okay.
Who's
All
up
right.
next?
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Who do we got here?
This is Dave, I believe.
Dave. Dave's not here, man. Dave, what's up?
Hey, Freddie, this is Dave from LA, man.
I haven't heard from you for a while, Dave. How's everything going out in the Leavittsburg area? Yeah, hey, not to be confused with LA with the Whiskey A Go. How's things at the Whiskey A Go out in LA?
It's going in the Mahoning River.
I hear you. They want to tear the dam down. What do you think?
No.
21 of them.
Yeah. All right, Dave, you got the number?
Hey, I got the albums out. There's 3, right?
You guys got 3 albums out?
2 released.
2 released,
There's a
one
third.
on the shelf.
One never
Okay.
got released.
All right.
Yeah, it was the first one had the pretty picture on it, and then the second one had the bad guys coming in.
The bad guys coming in. Yeah, I
Well,
don't
he means
Yeah, they're in the window.
adjusted first album.
The album cover.
Yeah.
Album cover, guys.
Yeah.
We got it.
This one?
Can you see it? That's the original.
Yeah, that's
Wait a
the
minute.
original.
Oh, jeez. How do I get back on there?
That's the second.
All right, you're here. Okay. You
Yeah,
got
I'm on the phone. But, oh, jeez, oh, mice. Anyway, while I'm trying to get back on, should I hit YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, that's where I was on.
Okay. All right, you got the.
Please come up. Please come up. There you are.
Okay.
Dave's here, man.
What's up? Dave's
No,
here,
hey.
man. Dave's not
Somebody
here.
shaved their head. Somebody shaved their head.
You got it.
Who was you interviewing there at Freddie? 80. 80 Cultural. Where do I go, man? Anyway, yeah, I grew up with Bobby Miller, and we used to play football in the cafeteria. You know, put your fingers up.
I just realized this is Storm and Norman on there, isn't it?
Yeah, you got me there. Shit.
Busted.
Fucking ass.
How you doing?
I hope you bleep that out. Yeah, sorry.
It's all right.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking.
This is Bob Jalowski. This is Bob Jalowski.
Who's Bob? Bob Jalowski.
Yeah.
He's a crazy man.
No.
He's definitely crazy.
You're the crazy man. I go on the road with a band. I come home and you're having a party in my house. Remember that? I didn't know anybody there. The house was full.
Is it? Am I talking to Bob?
Yeah, you're talking to Bob.
I knew that was you were on the right side of the couch, right?
Yeah. The big guy, yeah.
Yeah, the guy with the broken knee or something. What
Yeah. My knee needs replaced, I think.
There it
I'm
is.
going to get that done when I get my lobotomy.
So now what happened now, Bob? You're out on the road with the band and you come back and Dave's got a big party going on at your place?
Yeah, on the road with the band. I was supposed to come home a week later.
Oh, no, there was 2 girls and me.
Two girls. The house was
I'm
full.
trying to set him up.
Yeah.
Blew it.
I come home, the house was packed. Remember? I'll never forget it.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, all right.
And that reminds me of that song by Jimmy Buffett. I don't know if you ever heard it. Gypsies in the
Your
Palace.
mom was away.
My mom was away when you were watching my
back.
house, yes. I
Your
remember
mom
it
when she
distinctly.
came back. I know that.
Oh, yeah,
we were listening to Silver Cross, Diamond Girl, and you loved it. I remember that.
Are you in L.A. now?
Wait a minute.
Are you in California?
Go ahead. Wait. My phone's dying.
He said Leavittsburg.
Yeah, Leavittsburg area. Yeah, L.A. The Leavittsburg area. Come on, Bob. Get with the program. All right, hey, Dave, you got a number here? Give me a 3-digit number. Let's hook you up with this money here, man.
Oh, hey man. 330. The airplane was grounded 737. New York.
Nothing there, Dave. All right, man. Listen, we got to move on. We got another call. I'll see you out in Leavittsburg somewhere. Take care in L.A., brother. Good to hear from you, man.
You come see me, 544 Florida Road,
All right.
Leavittsburg, Ohio, 44430.
Sounds like a plan, brother. Take care, man. Our buddy Dave from L.A. All right, let's take another call. Who do we have here now? Jeff?
Jeff Buzzard, how you doing?
Hey, good to hear from you, Jeff. How you doing today?
Good. I have a little story for you from the
Okay.
mouth.
Yeah, lay it on us, man. Go ahead.
These guys are rock stars are with there. Hey, did they ever play the Troubadour?
No.
The whiskey.
Just the whiskey.
Same area.
Oh, the whiskey.
Whiskey.
You might know a guy. I used to live in L.A. for 25 years, and I used to go to the gym. Long story short, I changed careers. I was a paramedic, and I actually became a stockbroker, but it was tough. And I was kind of sad one day. This guy came up to me and said, how's it going? I see you in here all the time. You don't seem like you're doing too good. I said, I just changed careers. I'm not sure what's going on. And, I work on all commission now. I used to, be a hourly employee. And he said, wow. And he said, well, let me ask you something. I'm kind of cutting to the chase. He said, what would you want to do if you had, the dream to do anything you wanted? I said, I'd like to be a rock star, He said, I used to be one of those. And I didn't believe him. He told me these stories. He said, you ever hear of Elton John? I said, yeah. He said, he used to open for me. The guy's name was David Ackles. I don't know if you ever knew him or not.
No, I never met him. I did meet, I'm trying to remember the guy's last name, Glenn. Can't remember his last name. Played for Pacific Gas and Electric.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I remember him.
This guy Ackles was real big. He, Elvis Costello and Elton John did tributes to him and stuff after he passed away. He died. And he came to me. He says, my last name is Jim, Jeff. We got to be good friends. He'd wait for me every day with his coffee and tell me all his stories. And he was a real religious guy. He quit rock and roll. He said the devil was in it. And things like that, But he was a composer for the plays, off-Broadway stuff. And he kind of came to me one day and he said, "It's my last day in here." And I said, "Why is that?" And he said, "I have terminal cancer from asbestosis."
Oh, boy.
That I had to work in shifts when I was trying to make it in music. And that's what I did for a living. And this is my second go-around with it, but I'm not making it through it. And then his wife and kid came in to tell me when he passed away. But he was a real famous guy way before, Bob Dylan, I think right around that time.
Wow, what was his name again?
Well, around the same time.
What was his name again?
Ackles.
Ackers, David?
David Ackles.
David Ackles.
Yeah, Ackles.
I'll have to look that up. How do you spell his last name?
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I think it's Ackles.
I'll have to look that up, man. That's an interesting story. All right, Jeff, you ready to try to win some money? What's this 3-digit number here?
All right, I got the odd number in the partners. I'm thinking of you, man. 369.
Okay. 369. Not this time. All right, Jeff, have a good one, man. I'll see you on Facebook, brother. All right, man. Fast Freddie here, along with my man Pat and Dave, Bob Jaloski, and we're talking about the 70s band from Warren, Ohio, Mom's Apple Pie, and their crazy, unique journey that these guys went on. It's something that wouldn't happen again to somebody in a million years, and that's why I love their story. Let's take one more call, and we'll get back to it. Andy's on the line. How you doing, Andy? What's up, man? Hello, Andy.
It could be Sandy.
Oh, Sandy or Andy?
Sandy or Andy?
Hi.
Sandy. Okay, definitely doesn't sound like an Andy. That's Sandy. How you doing, Sandy?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's up? How you doing? Everything going good? Everything going your way
Good.
today?
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
Hopefully things will go a little bit better if we can win this money. What are you thinking?
It would be awesome.
All right, give me a number.
I was going to say 936.
936. Nothing there. All right, sorry about that, Sandy. Maybe nobody will win, and next week. Maybe nobody will win, and next week it'll be up to $900. How crazy would that be? That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
All right, if you guys want to take a shot at it, give us that 3-digit code. Our phone number is 330-959-1600. 330-959-1600. There's $800 in this safe, and if you crack that 3-digit code, it could be yours. Now, Joe, the clues one more time.
I got the numbers from a clock, partners, 1 even, 2 odd, and there's probably not a 0 in it.
All right, that's so. Those are some really good hints there. I mean, if you really took some time out, like I did, and wrote them all down, Now Joe probably had a computer figure this out, but
I did.
I'm old
spreadsheet.
school, and I was just starting to figure out some numbers. So we're getting close. If you really pay attention to those clues and focus in, and maybe even just sit there and write them down, I think you could probably be in the ballpark pretty easy. Yeah. Because you got partners, 1 even, 2 odds, and probably not a 0, and it's a number from a digital clock. That's it. So if you really put your mind to it, we're getting close. I'm surprised nobody has hit it yet, to tell you the truth. All right, 330-959-1600. We're talking with the guys from Mom's Apple Pie. Just a fascinating story. And now, of course, one of the things that made you guys popular was your controversial album cover. Now, back in the day, this was pretty controversial. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it? And we do have a copy of it right back here, right?
Yeah, that's the replacement. This is the original. This is the controversial one.
All right.
We had
That's the replacement.
nothing to do with that album cover.
David was the artist to the cover. It's coming out now. Dave.
Yeah. I remember Billboard magazine. Every week it would come out, and I'd flip through the pages, and there would be a picture of our album cover with an X. So I'm trying to figure out, why is there an X there? So finally, I get a box of albums sent to me, and there's my mom and my dad going, "Let me see. I want to see it." I pull it out and I look, I went, Oh my God. My mom wanted to see it. I was floored. I didn't know what to.
Because what happened was Mom's apple pie with the, I guess that's whipped cream or something, dripping out of Mom's apple pie.
Yes.
Which looks a little bit more, you know.
It was.
You have to look this up online because when you see it, actually, that is really pretty graphic. You know, especially for what, 1971, 72?
I thought I knew that girl, but I was wrong.
No, it's not
The guy who did all the Alice Cooper stuff did that album cover, Nick Caruso.
Yes.
His
And
name's signed
it's it being an album cover that it made it to this book, 1,000 record covers. It's in this book.
And what's that book say about it? Why don't you?
Let me see if I can find it.
We were banned, I think, in Texas and
I should have
Arkansas.
marked what page it was on.
They're like, who are these perverts with Mom's apple, and you're desecrating apple pie?
Yeah.
Mom, the only thing missing on this is America. You know, you got apple pie and Mom. What are you going to do with America if you got this already going on your album cover? I'll tell you what's really cool, too, is the pictures on the back. If you guys got to look this up online. You guys really don't look like you do right now.
Well, Bob's got some pictures down here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Here's
what we used to look
a
like.
picture of Dave and Pat right here. There's Pat and
There's
Dave.
Pat, and there's Dave.
And I don't know where I'm showing this thing at, but
Yeah, we're...
The camera's over there.
there we go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right over there. Okay. But anyways,
It's a couple years ago.
yeah, a few years ago. Now Dave's got long black hair and a mustache, and Pat another one. So how old were you guys? You guys were just like in your 20s here, early 20s when this whole thing came down.
Teens.
Pat was 18 there, maybe.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't 18.
Rollo was
yet.
16, so you're 17.
I turned 18 when we were in California at the Whiskey.
Right, so
That's when I turned
he
18.
was 17 in that picture. Rollo was 16.
They're
See,
doing
that's
press
what makes
parties.
this story even
Oh,
more
it's great.
amazing. It's because you guys were kids and you're thrown into this thing that most people never even get a chance to experience, and you guys did it in a big way.
Guitar player and myself had to quit school to travel on the road with a band.
Yeah, they
And our
graduated
senior
by then.
year, we went to school
Right.
for 1 month in our senior year and dropped out to be the rock and roll. We finished through correspondence course.
That's wild.
Way
Let me
back
tell
then.
you a story about Bob. We were on our way to Boston. And Bob, go ahead.
All right.
From
Tell
the
the
South.
story.
We played in a place called I don't even know the name of the place, but it was we got done playing. I think it was in Knoxville, Tennessee, and everybody's tired. We loaded up all the equipment. We're on our way to Boston. I climbed up on top of the Dave's organs in the van. I'm sleeping between the organ and the roof of the van. Okay, we're gone. I'm sleeping. We get somewhere. All of us hear a vehicle broke down. Okay, a pickup truck that we had broke down. Now there's 16 of us that traveled on the road. There, you got it. Wow. And we got out. They got me up. I worked in an auto parts store, so I said, Bob, look at this. Well, I figured out what was wrong with it. The fuel pump fell off. I changed the bolt. I rebolted the fuel pump back on. I went in the bathroom to wash my hands. I come back out and everybody was gone. I mean, gone.
Oh, no.
I had no idea where I
And
was.
no cell phones or anything.
No, and there was nothing. And all I remember was I went back to the place and trying to talk to the guy at the gas station. He couldn't even speak English. Okay? I mean, I couldn't understand him. I get on the phone. I'm calling the State Highway Patrol. I didn't know what else to do. I said, look, I got left at a gas station. I don't know where I'm at. They hung up on me. They thought it was a crank call.
Like 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
In that range.
I was scared. I'm 16.
Yeah.
16 years old, with the band, trying to get a hold. I says, I don't even know where I'm at, so I had to run out to the road to find out what name of the highway I was on. Called back to State Highway Patrol again and says, look, this is not a crank call. Please, this is not a crank call. Help me, okay? I'm with a bunch of guys with all these vehicles following. Here, the State Highway Patrol finally caught up to the band about a state or two away, and they stopped them. And they sent a vehicle back to get me. And
They said you left somebody back there.
you left somebody.
Home alone.
We had no idea. Yeah, exactly.
That was
We had
a
no idea.
experience that everybody remembers. And we had to go in Boston, and the guys who came back to get me, we actually drove a little faster than we should have, and we beat everybody else to Boston.
I think we got there about a half hour before it was time to play.
Yeah.
Now, how much supervision did you guys have on this? Are you just young guys going balls out?
And that's it.
Oh no, there's no supervision. We drove at whatever speed the slowest vehicle would run, top speed. So we'd be going through at night, pretty late, not really hitting the speed limits.
Yeah.
It was, 100,
120 in the
yeah.
beautiful Sabre,
they
1973
passed us.
LeSabre going
Yeah.
120. I remember.
They passed us going 120 when we were driving to Boston that time.
Now, of course, you couldn't drink in bars, but were you guys partying? Were you guys were you whooping it up, or?
Let me tell you, whiskey a go-go. Our trombone player, Fred Mazzochi, God rest his soul, he passed away on us. He was in touch with Dom DeLuise. So Dom DeLuise came to the whiskey to see us. After we got through playing,
There's Freddie.
he came back to there's Freddie right there.
There's our Freddie.
He came back to the Continental Hyatt House with us.
Dom DeLuise.
Dom did. And we were smoking left-handers. And he was the funniest person I've ever been with in my life. He had us laughing all night long.
So he was as funny as he's got a little buzz on, and he was as funny as you would imagine Dom DeLuise hanging out with Burt Reynolds and
Next level.
He was funnier.
No kidding.
Oh yeah, he just let loose. Absolutely hilarious. I'll never forget that.
And you guys are like 18, 19 years old, and you're
That's all.
burning one with Dom DeLuise, and he's just going off the rails.
Yes, it was crazy. Then after the whiskey, then we went up to Frisco. We
Opened a
played
new
up in
club,
San
yeah.
Francisco up there for a week.
Next to the Playboy Club.
Yeah.
It was called the Orphanage, if I remember right.
It was the Orphanage. Amongst some of the other bands that we played with, a lot of jobs with the James Gang. Mott the Hoople, Kinks, Bowie.
I remember.
The Doobie Brothers a lot because I got left in.
Yeah.
I got left in another place. That was on
Maybe
the
they were trying to tell you something.
Yeah,
Bob.
well.
Couldn't shake them. Just couldn't shake them. We played, I think it was GMI with Blue Oyster Cult.
Blue
wasn't it?
Oyster Cult up in Michigan.
Yeah.
I forgot about
with
that.
Cornell University. Who was that with?
We did the Kinks once there at Cornell.
Right.
The crazy part I remember was usually we traveled together, but I think I finally had a license and maybe a car. And I drove to Michigan, and I drove up kind of on my own. Might have been with my girlfriend at the time. And when we left, I don't have a microphone as a drummer, but when we left, I knew I wasn't staying with the guys that night. So I kind of did what that one caller did. I said, the band's staying at the Holiday Inn or whatever, and come on over and party. And there was a lot of people there when I met up with these guys again. I mean, I was driving back to Ohio, but I didn't get to partake with the band at the time, but I understand it was quite excessive that
Yeah, I can only imagine 10, 12 guys in their teens and early 20s just going berserk.
There's 10 guys in the band and 16 people that traveled. We were 16 of us that traveled to do everything.
I am telling you, this whole story is a movie if I've ever seen
There was
one,
four
man.
Bobs. Four
That's
Bobs.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did you guys get to hang with Joe Walsh back in the day? Was he like a hangout type guy, or was he?
This was after Joe left.
Oh,
the
the
James
second
Gang.
round. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we did quite a few jobs with them.
Uh-huh.
All colleges. And we did play the Citadel, some of the military.
Yeah, there was the Naval Academy at the Citadel, right?
Yes.
In South Carolina. Yeah. I mean, we didn't know until we were told. We weren't out booking the band. It was like, okay, now
We're going here, we're going there. Okay.
And you know the craziest part? Once we started traveling, we didn't play in Ohio again until the end when my last job was in Columbus with the Guess Who. That was the last time and the first time that we played in Ohio.
Yes, that's what's crazy about you guys. You talk about Youngstown rock and Left End and Blue, Blue Ash and yeah. We have a list of things that you always are supposed to mention on this show.
Okay.
Left End, Idora Park, Bootsville, maybe Gym Trafficant. We have a little list at the Tomorrow Club. We have a few things in here that are a must that you mention on every show because they're such Youngstown icons. Yeah. But it's like all these bands and everything, you knew about them, but you guys just kind of flew under the radar and hit this thing, and you're out doing all this wild stuff.
We were gone.
It's not like, you don't have a lot of people saying, oh, yeah, every Friday I'd go see Mom's Apple Pie at, fill in the blank.
Agora, whatever. Yeah, no,
right.
We didn't play.
Didn't have that.
No.
And you guys just went from boom to boom, which is really, really wild.
Right.
That's really crazy. That's really crazy.
Prior to the Pie in the Shadows was Packard Music Hall that everybody played at, all the different bands in the area. There was a band in every garage.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day. Because there were tons of places to play. Now you don't have any place to play. But the Shadows were big up in Geneva.
Oh,
in
yeah.
the Cleveland area. And,
now, Bill Skidare was in the Shadows, right?
Bill Skidare was in the Shadows.
Boy, I've heard some stories about you guys partying at Geneva on the lake. Man, you guys were playing like, what, 2 gigs a day there and stuff like that?
Actually, it was a competition between the Cove and the Sunken Bar right across the street. Then there was a Circus and the Castaways out on the edge of town. But Mary Delfrades was the owner of
you're
the
laughing.
Sunken Bar.
Uh-oh, this got to be good.
Oh, no. I was nowhere there.
No,
Okay.
She asked us if we wanted to go to Florida and play. 18, 19 years old, yeah, we'll go. So we got a call about a month later from Bud Asher, who was a scout for the Cincinnati Bengals. But he owned the Safari Beach Motel in Daytona. And he booked us for 6-7 weeks down there over spring break. And we were doing 2 jobs a night at the Safari Beach Motel, and he had a nightclub that we used to play at. And then on Sundays, we played the band shell right on the beach. I don't need to say anymore.
No, because, especially, with Bill Skidare, I mean, he just flat out said, the reason I got into a rock and roll band was for women. He does not deny it to this day. Because one day I asked, well, who, influenced you on the sax, this, that? He goes, I got into the band for women. And he wasn't disappointed. I can just imagine you guys down there, spring break, Daytona Beach, just rocking the place, and it's just unbelievable.
They even had an airplane flying with the banner, the Shadows appearing live. It was packed. It was jam-packed.
Oh, what a great time. And that's one thing we talk about a lot on this show is people don't realize what it was like when bands were booming in Youngstown. Where guys like you guys could make a living playing in bands in Youngstown, Ohio, or for you guys hitting the road. And
we played quite a few jobs with the glass harp. Yeah. Phil Keg.
You did, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Now, were you at Geneva on the Lake when the big riot broke out?
No. Thank God.
Okay.
We were up there with the Jaggers.
Uh-huh.
We forgot about the Jaggers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice.
There were so many places.
There was tons of them.
Live music was happening, and it just seemed, it kind of faded away as the music changed. It was, maybe it got more complex. I don't know what happened, but definitely you were able to go out and book yourself back then and do jobs.
And I'll tell you, the DUIs really, I think, put the final nail into the casket, if you ask me. I think once they really started cracking down and the checkpoints and everything, it's got to the point now where, people You know, like, I'm not going out. And I'll tell you another big thing that happened, too, is when they raised the drinking age up to 21. You know, we used to have the 18, the 3.2 low-powered beer for the 18-year-olds, and that gave the 17 and 16-year-olds a reason to come out, too. But, I mean, that really did make a difference, too, because, you know, the kids were out, and, you know, you were following these bands from when you were 15, 16 years old if they played. And how about, you know, with the teen dances everywhere? You know, bands can make a huge. You get 2,000 people at a teen dance somewhere. You know, and people would just pack the place. So you got these people that were following these bands since they were 15, 16, moving up, and you know, it was crazy back then.
Oh, they used to have the Battle of the Bands.
Oh yeah.
And whatever the Battle of the Bands was, nobody ever won anything. Right. But it was a Battle of the Bands.
Yeah. And you'd have everybody come out, and they'd bring their families and their friends, and it was just a crazy time. And that's one of the things that I really like to preserve on this show is the memories of that, because it was just so cool, and you don't see anything like that anymore. You know, we lived in bred music. I mean, that was like the whole thing that just kept us going. Rock music, rock musicians, bands, partying. I mean, that was the whole thing, man. It was all based around the music and the bands and just having a good time. And boy, do I miss those days.
It's hard to explain to people how great it is to be playing on stage or just playing in general. And you can tell actors, you know, sports people, everybody kind of wanted to be a musician, that rock star musician. And it's hard to explain what it's like when we're on stage. I remember seeing it every once in a while, and it's a little weird, but we're playing, and here comes maybe one of the singers coming back, and you get that smile. I remember I saw it in one of the big acts. After all those years, that guy smiling and acting like we're here. You know, and it was like a Springsteen or somebody like that. You could see him with the other musicians.
Well, you know who's like that too? Paul McCartney is like that. You know, Paul McCartney, you got your Beatles shirt on too. Paul McCartney is like that. Paul goes out there to play, although he makes a ton of money. Right. But you know what? You see even when you see he'll do these little things where, you know, when he went back to his, went back to Liverpool and was, you know, just playing in one of the bars there, one of the pubs in Liverpool, or just sitting down at the piano in his old house. I mean, that guy loves to play music. Mm-hmm. You could just see it in him that, you know what, if he wasn't a Beatle, he would still be doing that.
I have a good friend of mine that he's not a musician, but he always tells me, this is the Chicago. They're still touring. After all, don't they get tired of playing the same old songs? And I tell him, I said, that's not the point. Mm. The point is they're having fun. They want to play. It's not that, geez, I've been playing this song for 30 years. That's not it.
Yep.
But let's go back to Paul McCartney, John Lennon. The greatest songwriters of all time. The best.
Bar none.
The best.
Yeah, I have to.
Could you believe we're almost coming up on 60 years of the Beatles? They wrote songs that 60 years later are still as popular as they were, and young kids continue to listen, and it's like they never go out of style. And you know, you think, you know, like Abbey Road, man. To me, that album is just so good, and you can put that thing on right now, and you sit there and listen to it. You're going, that was from 1969, and it's still like the standard of, it just sounds so good. And the variety of the music, and they were never pigeonholed, you know. It was like every song on the album would sound completely different, and it was just amazing.
One thing that gets me is when I hear the Beatles songs, I try to pick out how many different harmony parts they have. It's absolutely amazing. Their vocals.
When I look up on YouTube, when they have like the isolated vocals where they just do that, you sit there and you listen, and you know, the three of them singing together. When you got George, Paul, and John all singing together and their harmonies, I mean, you know, you could have the Beach Boys and the Eagles and Crosby, Stills, and Nash, but I think a lot of people forget about how great of a vocal group the Beatles really were.
Absolutely.
It's just fantastic when you listen to it and you go, wow, that's three guys singing and they're just right on.
Next time you hear the Sun King, sit there and try to pick the parts out.
Oh, yeah.
There's 4 or 5 parts in there. It's crazy.
Oh, it is. It's just nuts. And you know what's the amazing part about that, and I always like to bring this up, is they did that all in like 6 years. Can you imagine what they did in 6 years?
Yeah.
Phew. It's like, wow, and you guys know the whirlwind thing that you were on. Could you imagine the Beatles in 6 years with that? And then you still see Paul McCartney. He's like one of the most down-to-earth guys. He's just like, you know, and you're sitting there going, what must, you know, your brain must be spinning, you know?
Yeah, it's
incredible what the Beatles covered, with how they produced, and just everything they did. There was nothing bad that ever came out of those guys, as far as I can remember. No. Everything they did, I enjoyed. We liked it.
As a matter of fact, today is the anniversary of the release of Let It Be. Okay. And today's the anniversary. And I can still remember when that came out in 1971, they had it on the Glenn Campbell Good Time Hour. And that's the first time they showed a clip of Get Back, and I think they did a clip of Long and Winding Road, or Let It Be. They did Let It Be and Get Back. And I watched that thing, and I was as blown away as I think some people were in 1964. They just looked so cool with the beards and everything, and they were just sitting there. And it was like, these are some of the coolest guys in the world.
And some of the stories they have about why they wrote a particular song back in the USSR. They want to do a little tribute to the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
And you hear it in there.
Right. And then they could do everything. They could do a mellow song like Yesterday, and then they come out back with Helter Skelter that is as hard a rock as you could possibly get. And the thing I thought about, you know, with Let It Be, you know, the movie came out and it was kind of dark. It showed like the Beatles were falling apart, and the movie kind of focused in on that. And I guess after they recorded that, they were like, you know what, we got to do one more. And then they did Let It Be, which was their last album, or when they did Abbey Road, which was their last album, which was a masterpiece. And I don't think there's a single band out there where you can sit there and say, you know what? Their last album was their best. Their last album was the best album they recorded. And I don't think there's a band out there that you can say that about.
Remember that rooftop concert?
Oh, to this day, if there was one concert that I could have been at, the Beatles rooftop concert, and they just looked so cool.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they just looked so freaking cool. And it's just like, man alive. It was just something.
Well, they were.
You know.
They didn't have to work at it.
Yeah, I know.
They were that cool, those guys.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I mean, even Ringo now, man. You see Ringo, 80 years old, and he's still like...
out there having fun.
Yep. And it's just what it's all about. Hey, let's get some calls here for the money. You know what? Hey, folks, we got money in here.
Guess who's on the phone?
We got money in here. You got to have that 3-digit code. And Joe, give the hints one more time.
All right, so I'll give you the number first, 330-595-1600. And the hint is, I got the number from the face of a digital clock, partners, and then 1 even 2 odd, and there's probably not a 0 in the number.
All right, so $800 and a pair of AirPod Pros, like you're sitting there going, or earbuds. You know, it's like, yeah, what do I need those for? Earbuds, earpods, whatever they call them. You know, but when I got $800 in cash, so give us a call here, 330-959-1600.
595.
Or 595.
595.
No wonder I'm giving the wrong number.
You're trying to protect my money. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, Joe's paying me off there. Yeah, give the wrong number. I don't want to give this stuff away here. 595-1600. You see it on the bottom of your screen there. 330-595-1600. If you got a 3-digit code and you think it meets those clues that Joe just gave you, give us a call. And if you crack that safe open, there are 8 brand new $100 bills sitting in here that will be yours, okay? So give us a try here, 330-595-1600. All right, let's talk to Dave for a couple of minutes until we get a couple of calls on here. Dave is back from L.A. What's up, Dave? What's going on now, man?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I gotta turn down the volumes on my TVs. Oh, I think I'm good. Okay, what?
We got there about a half hour before it was time to...
What'd you say?
You got to turn down your TV a little bit. It's a little too loud.
Wait a minute.
Wait, are you talking to us or are you talking to people in the background there? I think that party that he had at Bob's house is still going on. They just moved it to a different location.
Hang on, please. Please.
You're doing good.
I don't know why it's doing that.
Turn the volume down,
goodness.
Dave. Just turn the volume down.
Okay, is that better?
There we go.
Yeah.
Hear you loud and clear.
What's
Who
up?
am I speaking to?
All of us.
All of us. You got Fast Freddie, you got Bob, you got Pat, you got Dave. We're all here, man.
No, you don't have. What happens to Roger Force?
Roger.
Where is he?
Roger's north of Pittsburgh.
Come on, man. Roger was. I remember Packard Music Hall.
Yep.
He came, you guys were all on stage, and I'm heading towards the stage, and he taps me on the head, bless you, and then he goes up on the stage and blesses everyone. Remember?
That was a wild night there.
He put his hand on your head.
Yep, sounds like Roger.
Come on, man.
He'd pour
You're
whiskey.
breaking up.
He'd pour whiskey on your head.
I don't know.
Right on top of your head. Hey, bless everyone.
All right, man.
Come on, man.
I hear you. All right, Dave. We'll talk to you a little later, man. Let's get to another call here. All right, man. Boy, what a crazy night here tonight, huh? So, how did you guys get started in music? Why don't we start there now? We're taking a big leap backwards. So, how did you guys first get into it? What was it that motivated you? Probably the Beatles on Ed Sullivan.
That helped. 45. I want to hold your hand. We played that. Myself. There was nobody else playing music, so I'm playing the records. And it's kind of how we evolved into listening to other bands and other records, and different people kind of got together over the years, and we knew of Dave's band and we knew of the other bands, and it was kind of like certain people from this band and that band, we brought them into this Mom's Apple Pie thing. Like he mentioned Roger was the far away guy. He was all the way in Braceville at the time. We were Warren, right? We were core Warren, but Roger was Braceville, but he would come in, and Roger was a friendly guy. He pretty much lived at the Eastwood Mall, and I don't know that there's anybody that didn't know Roger, actually, from his ways that he lived and met people out at the mall. Roger was a really, really strong saxophone and flute player, and contributed quite a bit to the songs that we had. The first album, I think, was called Good Days, the song. It has almost the level of a James Taylor flute solo. Isn't that the one that had the flute?
Yeah.
Excellent. I mean, today, if you listen to that, it was that strong.
Now, do you just play the drums, or do you play other instruments?
Oh, no, that was plenty.
Okay, so you just played the drums. When did you get your first drum set? Where'd you get it at? Do you remember getting it?
Downtown Warren. Danny Sapino.
I was just going to say, Sapino Music Center.
It says that I was self-taught, but I took drum lessons for 12 years. And I was in the bands, the high school bands. Yeah. So I actually went through, played symphonic band, timpani, and all that. But the band itself, I was always involved in bands like 5th grade, 6th grade. We're playing at private parties, our friends, that sort of thing. Dave, I don't know if you were able to be real mobile with the organ and the keyboard much. But
actually, I had a portable.
Did you have a portable keyboard?
Before I got the Hammond.
Yeah.
And you can't beat the Hammond B3.
Oh, it's a classic instrument, man. A sound of its own, and boy, I tell you, what a great sound.
I told my wife one time that you can hear a drum, you can hear a guitar, you can hear a sax. You don't know what kind it is. But when you hear that Hammond B3,
with a Leslie,
you know what it is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. There's nothing like it.
Oh, yeah, Greg Allman, Deep Purple,
Yeah,
Uriah Heep.
Uriah
some of them
Heep,
that come to mind. A lot of the blues guys.
Vanilla Fudge.
The Fudge.
You were
Oh,
into
yeah.
the Fudge, yeah.
Yeah, that was a heck of an instrument, man. You still have yours?
I still have it.
Oh, awesome.
I actually had it, well, it got beat up through the years.
I would imagine.
And I had my brother, who's a union carpenter. He refinished it for me. All black. It looks like a Steinway piano now.
Uh-huh.
Shiny black. And
oh, that's crazy.
And I had the guts completely redone. New tubes. Put it all back to factory specs. And we opened up this other band. This was just recently. We played down at the Warren Amphitheater and opened up for Donnie Iris. And their keyboard player, he came up to me afterwards. He goes, "Man, how'd you get that sound out of that thing?" That's it.
Yeah.
I did change the Jensen speaker to a Lansing.
Uh-huh. Now, where did you get that?
Strauss Music Center.
Right up here?
No, it was in Warren.
Oh, they had one in Warren, too.
Yeah. And
Those were
Chuck,
heavy.
what was his name?
I don't think I know those guys.
Chuck.
I know they were
Bonacera.
heavy.
Chuck Bonacera. He's a keyboard player, and he sold that to me. But I started playing music when I was 5.
Okay. And now, were you always like a piano player? Is that where you started? Or?
Accordion.
Oh, okay.
My
Accordion.
dad,
So, yeah, you still got
the
some
Italian guy.
Okay. Hey, Italians and Ukrainians, us hunkies, the accordion is not a foreign instrument to any of us.
And I still have that.
Uh-huh.
It's a LaDuca that back in the day, I'm talking in the 50s, my dad paid $1,000 for this thing. It's an electric one.
Mm-hmm.
I still have it. Every once in a while, my grandkids will come over.
Yeah.
And I got to break it out.
Grandpa's got a squeeze box.
Yeah, on his chest.
So you start with the accordion, then did you move to the piano? Is that how you moved up?
Straight to the organ.
Oh, okay.
I think it was a Farfisa was my first one.
Uh-huh.
And then I had a...
Now, did you have that in your house? Was your family musical, or did you say, Dad, I got to get an organ, or how did that go about?
No, I just, I had some money. We started making money when I was 15.
Oh, okay.
We formed, went to Harding, and there was a pizza shop across the street. It was Prince's Pizza. So we went over there on a lunch break, and the guitar, Mike Donadio, Randy Smith, Ed Len, Tony Gelati, and myself, we were all in different little bands. We said we should get together, and that's where we formed the Shadows. And we got our first job. I remember the girl's name was Kathy Keene, and she had a little party, and that was our first job. Nobody had a license, so our parents had to drive us.
Uh-huh.
And finally, our guitar player got his driver's license, and we kept getting jobs and jobs, and had enough money in a little kitty we kept.
Yeah.
And we bought a little van, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger.
See, that just goes to show what we were talking about. We got these guys in high school playing at a pizza shop, having their parents drive them, and you're saving enough money to buy a van, and you're buying Hammond B3 organs and all this kind of stuff.
When we were juniors, we were playing 3 nights a week at a place called Crest Lanes, the Buccaneer Room. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, from 10 to 2 in the morning.
10 to 2 in the morning.
Yeah. Then we just kept getting more jobs up in Cleveland.
Now, I take it your parents were supportive of it, were they?
Oh, yeah.
They didn't mind the long hair. Because there were some parents back in the day, turn that noise off, get a haircut, go find a job. You're wasting your time over here at the pizza shop. What's this ever going to get you?
Well, I remember my dad was a machinist at Copperweld. And 3 of us had Corvettes. Our guitar player had a Riviera. This Scudera had a Cadillac. And he grabbed me one day, my dad, and said, "Son, you're making more than your old man." And
And you're having a lot more fun too.
Having a lot of fun.
That's wild, man. I love that. And that's one thing that I don't know if you'll ever see people able to do that again. I don't know if this is just like a bygone era. Is it ever going to be like that again? Or I don't know if we saw the golden age.
A lot of these new ones, they're put together. All the little boy bands. Somebody just puts them together.
Yeah. No feel, no soul, no nothing. And now, with the way they record music and digital.
Oh, yeah.
With computers and this guy's over somewhere and he records it and they send it to another guy. And, you don't get the feel of musicians interacting with each other and, hanging together and writing together and the camaraderie. You just don't get that anymore.
When you're playing and I hear doing a lick that's just so good, then I could give him a look and yeah. And he knows what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And if I did something and he gives me a look well, yeah, nice. That's what's nice about being a musician.
Doesn't
you
even
can
have to
tell.
be on stage.
No.
We're doing it as we're practicing.
Right.
We're enjoying ourselves that much.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, I got to say hi to Rosemarie checking in. Mary's checking in down in Florida. And my cousin Colette is checking in down in the Carolinas. So a lot of people listening to us and watching us all over the place here this afternoon or this evening now. But it's you guys have just had to have a blast. Let's go back here. So how did Mom's Apple Pie ended up breaking up? How did it come to an end?
Well, it's 10 guys. That's a lot of personalities. And there was a period, for myself anyways, that Terry Knight was actually, I think, going into litigation. Grand Funk Railroad was upset with what Terry was doing to them because I think Terry was saying that type of rock is done. We're looking more for this disco type of environment, and we didn't know that, but that was when Terry said, I can't keep you, I can't keep producing you, and he was asking if we would like to go to the producer that did the Faces, Rod Stewart and the Faces. Well, it was my fault, because I'm watching this, and I'm watching these spectacular musicians that are out there that aren't really turning it into an exact science where you're definitely going to make it no matter how quick it happens. The song needs to be written. The Wild Cherry Syndrome. The bands that were turning over for more of a disco type of thing. So probably I was one of the first that said, I better, now that we're making a change in producers, guys, have a ball. I think then you started doing quite a few shows, but we never went with the albums or production.
For me, it was, I remember being in Florida, and it wasn't fun anymore. Just the road life, it got to me. And I remember telling Tony, I said, when we get back to Ohio, I said, I think I'm done. And once I quit playing, I didn't want to go see a band. I didn't want anything to do with music. And my sister would call me and say, you got to come hear this band. I don't want to. I was burnt.
Some people don't understand that. My buddy Jerry Sanafani, he was like that.
I know Jerry.
Great guitar player, awesome guitar player, but he started out as a kid. And he was like, really young, playing with all these bands and stuff. By the time he got to high school, he was like, I don't want anything to do with this. I want to hang out with my buddies and stuff. I'm done.
I played with Jerry about 3 years ago at Upper Creek. Every Labor Day weekend, there's a breast cancer benefit or some benefit for somebody.
Right.
And I sat in with Jerry. At that time, he was playing. There was a guitar player from think it was Left End.
Yeah, and Tommy Faginski.
There
I
you
know they were
go.
playing
Yeah, I
together.
sat in with
Yeah.
them, played a couple Deep Purple songs with them.
Oh yeah, they did Highway Star.
Yeah.
I wasn't at that, but I've been to some of their gigs, and
Yeah.
you know those guys could jam. You know, Tommy and Jerry together. They they were awesome.
But Tommy remembered me from the Shadows because
Uh-huh.
we used to play with Left End.
Yeah.
But back to being burnt out, I got a phone call from Doug Thomas. He used to be in a band called The Holes in the Road. And he said that, hey, so some of the guys, this is like 30 years later, some of the guys are getting together. We're going to do a breast cancer benefit. Come over to Denny Caesar's house and we'll talk. So I told my wife, well, I'm going to go see. So I went there. Just some of the guys back in the day were there, and we just started playing stuff from back in the day. And so I went home. She goes, well, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to play. And that would be the very next day.
Oh, okay.
So that was a Saturday. Then we played Sunday at Up at Creek for the breast cancer benefit. And lugged the big Hammond out. And we did it. And then ever since then, Pat comes. We get together and do these benefits. Yeah. I don't want to play in bars. But if we want to do a show somewhere, I would do that.
Yeah.
But a benefit, I'll do that too. And we give all the money away. We don't keep anything.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the guys get together. Like I said, I played with Jerry and Carmen Horvath. And
oh, yeah.
What a great guitar player he was.
You know,
John Safara from Glass Harp, he sat in. We played Whippin' Post.
Oh, there we go.
And he sat in
well,
on
that's
that.
an Allman Brothers song there.
Oh,
that's the Hammond B3
oh,
on that
absolutely.
one, man. You just see Greg right there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's some of the things I will do.
Uh-huh.
But
oh, that's good. You still jump in there a little bit here and there.
oh, yeah.
You know.
I have a couple keyboards down in my jamming room downstairs.
Uh-huh.
And like he says, I'll put YouTube on and
just jam along with something.
Yeah, Procol Harum.
Yeah. Whiter Shade of Pale.
Yeah.
Whiter Shade of Pale.
Yeah.
You play that one?
Yeah. Great organ.
Yeah. What are some of the other songs that like you cut your teeth on, or songs that you really like to play?
Oh man.
Well, you were doing covers.
We were
with the
we
Shadows,
did we did a lot of Chicago because we had horn players.
Right.
And everybody in the band sang. So we did about 4 songs off the Crosby, Stills and Nash Deja Vu album.
Uh-huh.
Everybody I Love You, Carry On. And
Woodstock.
We had Woodstock. We had people tell us, you guys are better than they are. But we doubled the harmony parts, which made it.
Yeah, that's all right. I already got to do it. You know, it don't matter.
There were a couple bands in the beginning that we played with that you can tell that the studio helped, you know, because there wasn't always that great a harmony in the early bands that we played with.
Right.
I mean, I remember, as much as we liked the Doobie Brothers, they didn't sound like that record.
Right.
As much as, you know, the vocals that they blended and made those first songs, great song, but, you know, there's always a little bit of adjustment, it seems.
We had some great articles as far as our vocals go. Yeah. Some people wrote that we sounded like Three Dog Night.
Right.
We had good harmonies.
Yeah,
And
that's
the
wild stuff,
musicianship
man.
was strong, but you got to write the song.
Yep.
It comes back to.
I
you
mean,
gotta
there
write
are
the
a lot of people out there. If you probably say have 5 hit songs, maybe 6, you could make money for a long, long time.
That's right.
You could, if you have like 6 hits, you know. Now Eddie Money had more, but say you had 2 Tickets to Paradise, Baby Hold On, Shakin', Where's the Party, and another song like
That's all
that.
you need.
You know, you throw in a couple of covers and you play a 12-song set and stretch it out. You could have a couple opening bands and make money from now on,
yeah.
whether it's at a casino or wherever.
There was a German guy, his name was Otto. I can't remember his last name, but he spoke broken English. And all he would say is, give me 10 good funky tunes. 10 good funky tunes. That's all you need.
Yep.
I'll never forget he said that.
That's the truth, man. You know, you
Yeah.
could take that forever. You know, it all boils down to the songs. And I'll tell you, that's why, you know, tribute bands these days are still so popular. And also, I mean, some of these other bands that are out there now, like, say, Foreigner. I don't think there's an original member in Foreigner at this point in time, but the musicians are great, and the songs are so good that the songs are carrying it. Sure. And there's a lot of bands out there that are like that, you know, the original guys are all gone or whatever, or too old, or, you know.
Temps, Four Tops.
Yep.
Sure. They're all gone.
Yep. But you still go out there and you listen to those songs, and the songs are just so good, and the people that are playing them are good, and the music, it's the songs that just carry it. You don't really care who's singing it that much. It's the fact that they're singing it and it sounds good and they're great songs.
Right.
So, well, guys, what, you about ready to wrap things up? We have fun today?
I had a riot.
Great conversation today.
Absolutely.
Great conversation.
Thanks,
Bob
Freddie.
Jaloski, always good to see you.
Thanks, Freddie.
Good to see you, man.
Freddie.
Pat, Al, man.
Keep in touch with me,
Dave,
bud.
Dave, Al, what am I talking about? You know. No, definitely. And you know what? When you guys do a benefit or something, let me know, and I'd like to come out. Maybe I can host a show or whatever. If I'm not doing anything, if I'm not busy, I'd love to come out and see you guys
This is an all
play.
day long. I think the first band starts about 1 or 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And then it's just on and
nice,
wrap it up
rotation.
around 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I'll certainly let you know.
Yeah, that sounds good. The band is called Mom's Apple Pie. Look them up. Look them up on Facebook, or not on Facebook, but on YouTube. Just Google Mom's Apple Pie. Nowadays, I don't even think you have to tell anybody. If you hear us talking about a band, Google their name. Something will come up. You'll see the album cover. You'll see some reviews, and you'll see some of their music on YouTube and that sort of thing. And just a very interesting story, very fascinating story, and it's just been good hanging with you guys. Nobody won the money, so we'll see what happens next week.
Freddie,
so, Joe,
thank you.
Thank you guys.
I'll call in later and see if I can.
You were trying to peek at Joe's list over there. I saw you, Bob. You know, Bob's Mr. Photography. He had some kind of camera zoomed in, or a drone hovering over.
That's how
he had something going.
It's funny. This is how I started in the photography. You know, doing the bands. And it's funny is I'm still doing the bands.
Boy, yeah, you know, let's talk a little bit about your photography. We want to jump in there for a couple seconds, give Bob a little talk about photography. What time we got? Yeah, we got a couple minutes. Yeah, so now Bob is awesome rock photographer, music photographer, and he has had a ton of great pictures in the Trib and a lot more. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your rock and roll photograph days?
It's funny because the Mom's Apple Pie's second album, I did the inside, and I have no credit. I never got credit for any of these. Okay.
Boy, you guys, you bastards. Okay, see, and they didn't even want. That's why we're going to let you talk about your photography right now.
But we brought up Ringo and stuff, and give it a long story short. That's the extent of my music ability. I don't have it. I play albums. I used to play reel-to-reels, and then I play CDs. But I traveled on the road with a band as a roadie and a photographer. And now I'm the entertainment photographer for one of them, for the Tribune. And I've been shooting for 35 years for them. And you bring up Ringo and Joe Walsh and Phil Collins and Sting. They all have my photographs hanging in their house.
How cool is that, man?
And yet my famous picture is downtown Warren, a picture of a courthouse. Has nothing to do with rock and roll. But I've been doing concerts, photos for everybody. I do everything between Cleveland, Pittsburgh. Been doing it for a long, long time.
I think I got a couple of his pictures in my thing too.
I'm sure
I got
you
one
did.
from the Dead. I think you hooked up a picture from the Dead, and I think you also
and Cornell has my Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh yeah, and I think I have a Neil Young picture too that you took.
Oh yeah.
Pretty good stuff.
And McCartney
So
too. Springsteen,
Yeah, I got 'em all.
McCartney, he shot quite a few.
Matter of fact, I got them, and like all the restaurants in town has my pictures, different ones of concerts and stuff in. The new living room has a few Bruce Springsteen and Sting, and Tony Bennett, and it's kind of crazy. You've named the artists. I've shot them over the years. I'm lucky to be here.
What are some of your favorites that you shot?
Well, Phil Collins and Genesis is my favorite band. Okay, but I mean I have Phil's picture hanging in my house, and it says "To Bob, cheers, Phil Collins."
Man.
And that meant a lot to me.
I would say.
And when he sent it back to me, I gave it to him on stage in Pittsburgh. And at the end of the show, when he's leaving the show, and he's saying, take me home, he was walking off the stage with my tube of pictures in his hand, singing Take Me Home. And I thought, wow, that was it, okay?
Oh, man.
Then about 8 months later, I got this big envelope back, and I'm thinking, what is this? And I open it up, and it's my picture of Phil. It was all mounted and signed to me. And the envelope had just a big smiley face in the top right-hand side as a return address.
No kidding.
And that was pretty nice.
I see Genesis is going to come back on tour one last time here.
Yeah, November 20th here in Cleveland.
Yeah. I've been listening to a lot of that old Genesis lately. I mean, going way back, Trick of the Tail and Lamb Lies Down. And
those are my favorites.
You know, Watchers of the Sky and Musical Box. And I listen to that stuff. And now, I mean, when you look at the realm of, prog rock, I mean, those guys... everybody automatically thinks Yes, automatically think Pink Floyd, King Crimson and stuff. Mm-hmm. But they had nothing on Genesis in the least bit. I mean, that stuff is so good.
My favorite bands.
And then when you had, Phil and Peter Gabriel singing together and oh man, I mean, the stuff that Squonk and all that and Trick of the Tail and all those great songs. I'll tell you who's a good keyboardist that can play a lot of that stuff is Golan.
Jimmy Golan.
Oh, yeah. Jimmy. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know why he messes with the guitar. For a while there, he was posting some videos, and he was playing all that stuff. He was sitting there, and I'm going, man, why are you even trying to be a guitarist? This is, amazing what he was doing.
My brother-in-law, his name's Michael Roberts. He's a pianist up in New York City for many, many years. As soon as he graduated from Oberlin, moved to New York City, played the Oak Room, big places, Ivana Trump's private parties, and he books bands. He taught Jimmy Golan the piano.
Oh, he's amazing. He's really amazing.
He's a good musician.
Yep.
But he likes the guitar.
Yeah, he does. But boy, the keyboards is
absolutely,
definitely, man, where he should be. Okay, so let's get back to Bob here. I journeyed off the track there a little bit. But so, some of the other shows or some memorable shows that you remember shooting.
Well, a lot of them. I mean, people backstage, which is really crazy. People ask me who's my favorite. And I remember having to go shoot a guy called Sting. And I wasn't a fan of Sting at all. And then when I went and seen him live, he was taking requests. And I'm thinking, what? Maybe this changed my whole attitude. And then I got all the Sting albums, and I met him backstage. I was the only one photographer allowed, and the record label asked me, do you mind coming backstage and taking some photos? yeah, twist my arm. I happened to bring 2 posters of Sting with me, and one was for him in case I met him. The chances of really... And then I had one for me. Well, backstage, they had these 14 big posters of him, and he goes, oh, where's this from? I said, well, this is of you 2 years ago I shot. And he goes, wow, this is a real photograph. This is no cheap litho. And he just made my day, okay? And then he autographed it to me, and I thought, man, that was really nice. He was a class act.
Oh, that's really cool.
And Joe Walsh... at the record at Jeff's place, I seen you there.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when I finally got to see Joe Walsh with the picture I had. And Andy Gray took me. He goes, we're going to have show Joe the picture. So I showed the poster of Joe Walsh and Ringo. And Marguerite, his wife, seen it. And they stopped what they were doing and said, well, where's that? And Andy says, well, this is the picture he shot of it. Well, that's hanging in our house. And I told him, I said, you just made my day, because I've been telling people rumors that Joe Walsh and Ringo have my pictures hanging in their house. She goes, it's been hanging there since 1987. So it's right when you go inside the door, and it's in his house in Aspen. I go, wow, you made my day.
Wow, is that crazy?
Yeah.
Now, what's it like when you're shooting at these shows? So, are they all different? I mean, some you only get 2 or 3 shots, or how does this work? So you got to be on the money, right?
Oh yeah. The thing is, way back when I used to sneak my camera in, and then it made it nice that I became a legit, with the press and stuff. It was really nice. But that's when I got some nice pictures of Yes, in the round, and I got to meet John Anderson and Alan White, the drummer, and met them all. And they all autographed this picture that I got when I wasn't allowed to take them. Okay, but it was nice. Now I meet a lot of people. I mean, I got a lot of pictures hanging in my house by a lot of people that are autographed, and that's over years of doing it.
Who was the artist you told me the other day? They had no pictures, no photographer, and then he saw you or she saw you. I can't remember. Who was that the other day? You just told me, and they saw you, and they said, "Oh, Bob. No, Bob's okay."
Well, that happened to be Sting.
Oh, was it Sting?
The second time I met Sting, and they said, "Well, nobody's allowed backstage. Nobody's allowed this." Nobody. I said, "Well, that's okay." And I happened to be standing back there, and the door kept opening and closing, and he's seen me, and he goes, "Hey, Bob." 2 years later, he remembers me, and all of a sudden it was like, "Hey, okay, yeah, come on," But that was like Sting's very impressive. He's got a good memory, and he's a talented guy.
I would say. So what's the key when you're out there at some of these shows where they say, okay, you got 1 song or 2 songs to shoot?
Well,
what
now
do you
it's
do?
easy. Now unfortunately it's easy. When I used to shoot film, you got 24 pictures, 36 pictures, and you got to be very picky. Now with the digital age, you hold the button down. It's not even fair.
Yeah.
It's just not fair.
So do you think digital has taken some of the art out of photography?
Yes, definitely taken. But I got some pictures of who got inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Dave Grohl
that I shot, and I'm hoping to get him to autograph him when he gets up in Cleveland.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
We had a show down at the art gallery, at Trumbull Art Gallery, 2 years ago. It was a big success.
I you know what? I wanted to see that, and I didn't get a chance. Hopefully, now that things are wrapping up with with the virus and everything, hopefully you guys will do another one. I got a couple of pictures too laying around that I think come out pretty good that I've snapped, and maybe I'll throw a couple in.
Well, I did the Glass Harp album when they did the No Strings Attached here. That was my second album. And I actually did get credit for that. But those are good guys.
Oh, definitely.
But like I said, it's. I'm still taking pictures. I've never played music, but I play it by playing CDs and stuff like that. But
now, did you ever have a nightmare experience where either your batteries were dead, lens cap on, the film didn't advance properly? Did you ever have a couple of busts like that? Or?
No, I had a crazy time when I was doing Rod Stewart at Blossom. They said only 1 photographer allowed, and I was it. I was shooting all the shows at Blossom, so they let me do it. Well, as soon as I started taking pictures, the security guys grabbed me on both arms and picked me up and took me away. And I go, look. He goes, no cameras, no photography, no nothing. I says, wait a minute. See this photo pass? I'm the only photographer allowed. So I wasted a whole song, 2 songs, and you're only allowed the first 3 songs.
Yeah.
So then they said, well, no, he's allowed. And I go start doing it again. 2 more guys got me. I said, this isn't working out too good, guys.
Yeah.
And that was the most strange experience. But they let me shoot like 3 extra songs. So it worked out.
Awesome.
But it was nice. There's a lot of experiences I can't even probably go on for hours. But it's nice that you bring this up, right?
Awesome, man. Well, everybody got their little plug in or whatever.
That's right.
The great stories. But boy, what a great night, man. 2 hours just flew by. It seems like 2 minutes with such awesome stories between the guys from Mom's Apple Pie and Bob with all his photo stories, and he's been to so many concerts.
And this is how it started. Mom's Apple Pie. I was a photographer for them. I introduced them to their manager at one time. That's how it started.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. Thanks again for being on with me here today. Had an awesome time. Joe, thank you again.
And thanks, Joe. Your box.
What do you mean, don't forget your box? Yeah, let's make sure we keep an eye on this here. Yeah, keep an eye on. We have this bolted down here. We better after some of these guys. But anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in, guys. Thanks for hanging with us here today. Awesome time, great conversation, excellent stories. So thanks everybody, and we'll catch you later.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. If you like our program, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our Facebook page, or subscribe to your favorite podcast platform like iTunes or Spotify. This is original Youngstown content, and we would appreciate you sharing the videos and the word about us. Thank you.